To talk politics and current affairs. Welcome to this time out. It promises to be an expose as we would be looking into matters that concern the reps to probe political appointees severance package. Now, my name is Udwak Daniel, and it is 5 minutes gone past the hour of 9 on the AM side. In the course of this discourse, you would also add your voice in the discourse, and let's get to see how we can push the frontiers and bring to salvation our dear country, Nigeria. Now, the House of Reps Committee, our House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts has resolved to investigate the processes leading to the arrival at severance packages usually approved for political appointees by federal ministries, departments, and agencies. That's talking about the MDAs now. This decision was made due to concerns over the scale of severance packages being paid to board members of some agencies. Now, the committee's chairman, Bamidele Salam, expressed concerns that boards of some agencies appear too powerful and approve any amount whatsoever as severance packages for appointees. Well, the issue has been a topic of discussion in Nigeria, with quite a number of Nigerians and political affiliates, as well as well-meaning Nigerians, adding their voice in questioning the justification of such large severance packages for political appointees. Little wonder these political offices have become some sort of a gold mine where quite a number of persons now are vying tooth and nail, doing all they can as though it was a do-or-die affair just to get into these political offices. I mean, the background of this issue dates back to the establishment of the Public Accounts Committee, which is responsible for overseeing the financial activities of government agencies. Now, the committee's investigation is aimed at ensuring that there is transparency and accountability in the payment of severance packages to political appointees. Right, now, to do justice to this discourse this morning is our guest in the person of Comrade Gerald Okachi. And Comrade Gerald Okachi is a human rights activist. He is also a public affairs commentator. He's a social analyst and conflict resolution expert, and is going to be adding his voice in the discourse this morning. Good morning to you, Comrade Gerald Okachi.
Yes, a very good morning to you, Daniel.
That's right. It does feel good to have your voice again on this. I mean, severance packages, humongous severance packages paid to political appointees and all of that is what we are looking at this time, as the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts is investigating the severance packages of political appointees in federal ministries, departments, as well as agencies. Now, the committee's chairman, Bamidele Salam, has expressed concerns the scale of severance packages being paid to board members of some agencies. In fact, to that end, a 5-man subcommittee has been appointed to handle the investigation and make recommendations to the committee for adoption. So the committee may also recommend an amendment to the Establishment Act of some of government agencies to addressing these issues. I mean, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, appeared before the committee to defend the 2020 audit queries from the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation. SEC's Director General, Dr. Emomotimi Agama, had explained that the severance packages and allowances were paid to former executive commissioners who served from 2013 to 2017. Now, the severance packages paid to former executive officers range from 11 million naira to 50 million naira. How do you make sense of all of this, Comrade Gerald?
When you talk about severance packages for political appointees and why it differs, especially with regards to public servants, there are a lot of things we have to put into considerations, when we begin to engage in issues of severance packages. And even the National Assembly, especially the House of Representatives, committee looking at it and setting up committee to investigate, they are not far-fetched or out of it. They are part of people you can consider that are benefiting from severance packages. Political appointees, including elected officials, typically receive a unique remuneration package that includes severance allowances upon leaving office, and we have seen it time and time. In fact, in Nigeria, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, that is RMA FC, determines the packages for political office holders, taking into account a lot of things, things like macroeconomic variables, inflation rates, gross domestic product ratio, cost of living index, among many considerations they take, in giving that this is a severance package. This package is usually more generous than the compensation structure for public servants, who are typically subject to a more standardized salary scale. These disparities, excuse me.
Right. All right, comrade, if you want to take a minute, it's okay, right? We'll get back with you in a short bit. But yes, the comrade has already given, some thoughts, in this severance package conversation, especially when it has to do with political appointees. And some have called it reckless. Some have said it is unaccounted for. Some have questioned why it had to be so large, these packages. In fact, a couple of others have said that, these packages are enough to feed a cross-section of Nigerians, if you were to put it all together. And that this is why these political offices, become a do-or-die affair for those who are vying for these offices, and they do all whatnot just to ensure that they get into these offices. But let's see how we can get back with a comrade now. Comrade, are you there?
Oh, yes.
All right. Yes.
So just like I was saying,
yes,
the disparities in severance packages can be attributed to several factors. One of the factors I think makes it more high and generous than public servants or public sector includes the length of service. Is a well-known fact that political appointees often serve for shorter terms than public servants who may spend decades in civil service, like in Nigeria. In some areas they serve up to 35 years or more. Then you look at compensation structure. Political appointees compensation packages are designed to attract and retain top talents, whereas public servants' salaries are typically determined by a standard pay scale, where organized labor always negotiates some of these scales, almost every 4 years, or as the case may be, depending on the inflation and economic indices. Then you look at pensions and benefits. Political appointees may not be subject to the same contributory pension schemes as public servants, which can impact their severance packages. The difference in employment arrangements and compensation structures contribute to the disparity in severance package between political appointees and those serving in the public. But then, in Nigeria, it becomes alarming that sometimes a political appointee, just in a space of 3 years or 4 years of service, they will amass, they will get what a 35 years public servant cannot get in his entire life. That is where the concern comes in. And it's not as if one can say, okay, the political appointees, some of the work they are doing are very exceptional than what the public servants are doing. No. For example, if you use a teacher, we all believe that a teacher has enormous value with regards to attention they are, the contribution they are making to the growth of our children and people that grow up to become leaders. So as far as I'm concerned, I value them more. Well, in terms of top ranking, put them in number one before I talk about security and the rest,
right,
or health. You understand? But then, if you look at the life of a teacher, and after serving for 30 years or 35 years, as the case may be, and you see a political servant, political appointees, that served just 2 years before he was maybe dismissed, or served for 4 years, depending on the life span of a government, or in some cases serve up to 8 years. You will see the gap, the difference is so alarming. That is why people can easily resign from their work in the public area sector just to get appointed. And that is why you nowadays children, or what do you call it, will begin to tell you that use this wrong ideology or speeches like education is a scam. A situation where you have somebody that's well trained and read, and contribute his years in acquiring knowledge, will come out and get into public service life, and you see maybe somebody that have half education, or he says semi-literate, or maybe he's not as well read as the other person, and he finds himself in a political environment. You will discover that even the one that's well read will end up serving that person.
Right.
These are the base of corruption. These are the base of bribery. These are the base of a lot of challenges we are facing today. Now, if you look at our MDAs, these are the things that make them to appear to be powerful with regards to these, the several packages and benefits, due to some of these factors I have listed. Now, if you look at our constitution, constitutional provision section 153 of the 1999 constitution as amended establishes this revenue mobilization, allocation and fiscal commission to determine these remuneration packages for political office holders. Then section 169 empowers the National Assembly to make laws regulating the conditions of service of public officers. But then a situation where these National Assembly are supposed to make laws, and you see the homologous packages they set out for themselves, that's at the end of every month, what they take home, will be higher than what the public servant put together for 4 years cannot even, without even touching the salary. If you put it together for 4 years, it cannot even be close to what they take home for 1 month, for 30 days. So these are some of the things that create desperation, create this attitude of do or die, attitude, or snatch, grab and run with it attitude, or what have you, that we have seen in our political system.
All right. Well, comrade,
your technical know-how, your knowledge into public service, and at the end of the day, you discover that people that share or have less value with you are having it in the other field. It affects service delivery.
Right.
You understand? It affects a whole lot of things.
Hello, comrade, are you there? All right. Well, comrade, we'll get back with you in a short bit, but just having a little bit of hiccup right now in terms of the voice call. But yes, let's also, in case you're just tuning in for the first time now, we're looking at that topical issue that bothers around the House of Representatives to probe political appointees' severance packages, right? And that's what the discourse is about. Now, in case you're just tuning in and you still do not know what severance package might be, well, based on the discourse, a severance package refers to a payment made to a political appointee when they leave their position. It is a form of compensation that is typically paid to outgoing officials, such as board, members of government agencies, as a way of recognizing their service and providing financial support during their, transition. And it has come under the axe at this point in time, because in the context of this discourse, severance packages are being investigated now by the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts, due to concerns over the scale of payments being made to political appointees. Now, the committee is seeking to ensure transparency and accountability in the payment of severance packages and to determine whether the current system is fair and equitable, right? Well, some of the highlights of this discourse today would be the place of the fact that these payments are made to political appointees when they have, when they leave their position, and they can be substantial, quite substantial. Some packages ranging from 11 million naira to 50 million naira. They are typically paid to outgoing officials such as board members of government agencies. They are intended to provide financial support during the transition period, and they are subject to scrutiny and investigation by regulatory bodies such as the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts, and that's why this conversation is ongoing as of now. But to what end is the question? I mean, even though, as the guests have aligned, that look, these packages may differ based from office position that you're holding to the other. We have also seen a state of, I wouldn't call it an assault. I would say a state of utmost disregard as shown by some ministries, departments, and agencies that have decided to put together what they feel should be a severance package for them. And most of the time, it happens with whoever is at the helms of affair, for these ministries, departments, and agencies. They can kind of decide, they get to decide by themselves and for themselves, which is an injustice, which is corruption on its own, what they should be paid as severance, packages. And it makes you wonder, just as the guest, rightfully put out there, that what about those who have contributed, devoted their time, into well-read studies, right? Running to research here and there, and they become educationists, and they find themselves within the four walls of the public service, and they serve the country for about 35 years, or even more, 35, let's just leave it at 35, because that's what it is, 35 years, and in the end, when you go to see the severance package for these ones, you wonder if this is what 35 years really means of service, as compared or as against to some of these political appointees or political office holders who just spend 4 years as their tenure would agree and allot for, and they have humongous severance, packages trailing them, right? But I do really want to know what your thoughts would be on this, and why is it an eye-opener just now for the House of Representatives to notice this? How much oversight have they been onto, all of these years, to not have noticed how powerful some of these, agencies have become, that they become custodians of their own severance packages. And yet, every now and then, we keep talking about how we are booting out corruption, what efforts we're making to stem it off and stem it out. Others will want to quickly add and say, UD, better late than never. At least they've come to the realization. And now that they've come to the realization to put it out in the public. But now that it's put out in public, what next is what Nigerians will always ask. What next then? What happens next? Are we seeing some justice being meted out? Are we seeing, these persons come back to refunding? Are we seeing quite a number of action that will not be inimical to the progress of our country and the people in this regard? Are we seeing punitive measures in terms of law or to deter some of these persons who may be holding offices right now as we so speak and deliberate from wanting to, usurp power, take over power, take it upon themselves, be at the liberty of determining what the severance package might be for themselves, regardless of what the conditions or political office that they hold. But the number will be open now for you now. You might as well want to stick to this number, 0907 353 0044. That is 0907 353 0044. A personal account of the impact of severe severance packages on individuals can be seen in the case of a former executive commissioner who received a severance package of 20 million naira after serving for 4 years. While this may seem like a large amount, though, it is also essential to consider the individual's contribution to the agency and the country during their tenure. However, though, the issue of severance packages also is raising concerns about the potential for abuse and the impact on public trust. For instance, if a political appointee is found to have engaged in corrupt practices, should they still be entitled to a severance package? I mean, that's some question right there that begs, for some answer. And you can as well get via the WhatsApp portal there and give us your 2 cents to this discourse this morning. 0909 705 4450. Just a WhatsApp message will do. Please don't call the WhatsApp portal number. All right, we'll get back with our guest right about now and engage in the discourse. Hello, comrade, are you there?
Oh yes, I'm here.
At some point we lost connection. But just before you go on with your thoughts, let's see how we can take just this call. Okay, that's a miss. All right, do well to continue in your thoughts. I mean, comrade, there are some persons some Nigerians bringing up a wake-up call, in the regard of severance package. Some of these political appointees will only serve just 4 years, and rightfully put, as you pointed out, that look, it depends on what their duty, their responsibility, or responsibilities, as it were while they were in service, and what that office indeed allows for in terms of severance packages. But then again, I gave an example of a commissioner, an executive commissioner who had only spent 4 years and is having a severance package of over about 20 million naira after serving only 4 years. And we have civil servants, some of which you've mentioned, who have devoted their time, contributed their years into study, into research, into schooling, and all of that, and then get into the civil service. And 35 years after, when you look at their severance package, it makes you wonder if the 35 years was even worth it.
Exactly. And that is the area some of us in the struggle has been advocating, carrying out campaign, protests, rallies, demanding that we standardize these packages or possibly make look with regards to equity and balance, equity and fairness, in these payments. For example, the past head of states or presidents in this country, their severance package, if you put it together, is way over 300 million naira. You understand? And you begin to ask yourself, just recently we saw our president, giving approval for up to $20,000 for retired generals with regards to the health, care. You see, if you put all these things together, you as a general, and you have staked your life, you have risked a lot of things. Sometimes before you get to even a position of general, one way or the other, your body must have been disfigured, or you have a life-threatening injury. After serving, what you are getting is very, very low to what a commissioner, just like you mentioned, is getting. It creates this kind of insecurity we have. It creates this kind of sabotage we have in the economy. where people will begin to devise a means of enriching themselves. These are some of the things that make people, when you post them to some places, instead of working with integrity, they will begin to find a way to aggrandize a lot of things, anything they can aggrandize for themselves. So I think some of the ways we can bridge the gap between political appointees and public servants in severance packages is standardizing these packages, which means implementing a standard for all public servants, including political appointees, and we have carried rallies on that. If, for example, as of today, the minimum wage in Nigeria is 70,000, even though there are some states that are paying higher.
And some states are paying lower. Some states are paying less, 60,000.
Any state paying lower, the governor should be made to leave the seat.
Right. Okay.
You understand? Even though that's on paper, they will claim they have accepted 70,000.
Yes.
Some will go back and be paying.
60,
what we experience.
60,000. That's what's going on in some states. Yeah.
So, but what I'm trying to say is this: if, for example, as minimum wage in Nigeria is 70,000 naira, and we are putting into consideration that this service, for appointees, in some cases can be 4 years, some can be 8 years. It's not up to public servant that will be there for decades. We say, okay, with these considerations and the kind of job they do, let us redouble or triple that minimum wage as their basic salary because of the time. Say, for example, you are paying them 140 or 210. It will make a lot of sense. But a situation where a political appointee is receiving just as a salary over 500,000, some over 1 million, as the case may, among other things that goes with their work, either traveling allowance, health allowance, extra codes, etc., etc. There are a lot of things that, apart from the basic salary,
right?
It creates environment that will continue to exploit. They are continue to endanger. Will be meshed with more corruption and bribery. So I think if we establish a clear guideline and criteria for determining severance pay to prevent arbitrary decisions, like if we begin to look at transparency and accountability, ensuring transparency in calculation and payment of severance packages to prevent corruption and abuse, it will help us. If we look at establishing an independent body to oversee the administration of severance packages and ensure accountability, that would be fantastic.
All right.
If we make it performance-based severance packages, introduce performance-based severance packages that reward public servants for their contributions and achievements, establish clear performance metrics, that evaluates criteria to ensure fairness and objectivity, then we can look at maybe these packages can be based on merit. For example,
just before you get on with the example, let's go take a breather, take a recess now, because we've got bills to pay. We'll come back and of course we'll indeed engage the discourse further, right? Well, the conversation is still trending. We'll go on a recess now. We'll be right back in a short bit. Don't forget, this is the Political and Current Affairs Broke Show on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, where we'll give you an audiovisual radio experience you can count on.
No offense to the commercials. It's just that we want to see other audio.
Eagles 102.3.
Do you want to know about cars? Everything about cars, from purchase to maintenance and even road use. Don't go too far. Listen to Top Gear on Eagles 102.3 FM every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Top Gear, let's give you a spin.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Has anyone told you you can talk about your business on radio for just
20,000 naira?
Get a chance to talk your business for 25 minutes on The Entrepreneur. Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. For more inquiries, call 090-9984-4433. 090-9984-4433. Hurry now.
Eagles Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Reps to probe severance packages for political appointees. Right here is what we are talking about on Eagles Outlook today. And you need to be a part of this as you get aboard the internationally accepted, globally rewarding, and nationally improving television that we are hosting across social media platforms, precisely and particularly YouTube and Facebook at Eagles FM Abuja. Do well to subscribe on YouTube and give us a like and a following on Facebook as well. Spread the love across every other social media platforms as you know it at Eagles FM Abuja, and there you will find us. We still have our guest who is via phone call now in a person of Comrade Gerald Okachi, human rights activist, public affairs commentator, social analyst, and conflict resolution expert, adding his voice in the discourse. And we'll just take this call already. Good morning to you.
Good morning, baby.
Yes, good morning to you, please.
And good morning to your guest,
Right.
Felix from Lambata.
Felix, welcome aboard. Talk to us, Felix.
Yes, I want your guest to also address the issue of those who have severance package previously but are still occupying other political appointments. Take, for instance, the president of the Senate. He has been a governor before, and I'm pretty sure that he was properly there, and before his appointment as a minister, and another one again. Now he's the president of the Senate, and sometimes you wonder why they're having 2 million prayers in their account, and as a token, when a career civil servant cannot even earn up to 1 million in a month. Say if that comes to equity must come with clean hand. I wonder if House of Rep is even in the right position to look into this matter when they are also having the same problem. Their severance package is so high, Nigeria cannot afford it. And mind you, the least qualification for political appointment is school staff. I don't know what I still remember. That going to the National Assembly or House of Rep is school staff. The same thing with the president or governor, whatever. So there must be a body to address this issue properly, so that the ordinary Nigerians will not feel such change. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Felix, right there, all the way from Lambata. All right, you still want to add your voice in the discourse? Get on to this number only, 0907 353 0044. That is 0907 353 0044. Or better still, get to the WhatsApp portal number and leave us your 2 cents, in view of the topical issue in discourse, and that would be 0909 705 4450. If you're watching outside the shores of Nigeria, as I believe you are, do well to add the country code +234, I beg your pardon, to the numbers, and you connect with us. Well, Comrade Gerald, you there?
Yes, I am.
Right. So Felix is raising an issue now, and he wants you to, put your thoughts, around it, and that would be the fact that there are some political office holders who have left certain offices and they've had severance packages in these offices, in the previous offices. Should they still be eligible, to severance packages as this has taken a toll on Nigeria as a country and its people? What are your thoughts?
It's unfortunate, just that one can only say that our laws, allows this kind of abuse, or rip off on on our economy, in fact, on our government. If this is where standardizing this severance package or making a uniform policy comes in. If you have served as a local government chairman, a governor, just in any of the executive arm, or maybe in maybe judiciary, or maybe even any arms of the government, and maybe there are severance packages that you are receiving, and appointment is made on you, I think on a moral ground, without much ado to it, we expect such a person to stop it. But this is where policy comes in. I think we need to amend our laws, where it will be that once you get another appointment or you are elected, into an office, those things you are receiving as a former governor or former this or that should be stopped. It shouldn't be that, for example, our president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you'll be receiving as a former governor of Lagos State. Every year you will be captured in the budget, and you are still the president. And when you finish as the president, you will also be considered as the former president of Nigeria with regards to severance packages. It doesn't help the system. It does not. And at the end of the day, you will see this kind of persons coming out to tell that they are fighting corruption. How do you fight corruption with this kind of standards?
Comrade,
when you are benefiting, in such system that deny others benefits, and you benefit even more. It doesn't help. So I think if we harmonize or make a uniform severance policy where we can apply all public servants, including political appointees, to be subjected to a particular payment, it will make a lot of sense. A situation where you are serving in more than one place, they can find a way to harmonize it. A situation where maybe you have served another place and you're a pensioner, or if you're not a pensioner, you have something that you are benefiting having served in that area, and you get another appointment. We should have a policy that harmonizes it.
All right, Comrade Gerald.
You understand?
Yeah, Comrade Gerald, in terms of looking at this severance package, conversation, if you also recall that sometime in 2019, right, if I'm not mistaken, the Nigerian Senate had approved a severance package of 7.4 billion naira for outgoing governors and their deputies. That was in 2019. Yeah. And then if we come back and we see, the economic factors and how this is affecting us, the payment of large severance packages, to political appointees can have significant economic, implications. For instance, the funds used to pay these packages could be diverted to other critical sectors, such as education and healthcare, right? But then are we seeing that happen already? No, it doesn't seem as though that is happening. And it does make quite a number of Nigerians believe that the only job that one must really do that will secure you, secure your family, secure your future and your children's children would be the political offices. And it has been made to look so beautiful that everybody now are trying tooth and nail, do or die, and hoping to get into any of these political offices because of what holds for them. And then it brings us to the place of equity. Is the current system of severance packages equitable, and are there alternative models that can be adopted to ensure fairness and justice within the system?
No. You see, I think some of these disparities with regards to the kind of severance packages we have today is something that we have to do with a consideration to our moral approach to our nation building. I will give you a typical example. Among the current set of leaders we have in this country today, one of the performing leaders, if you put all the subnationals like all the governors, to me, one of the performing governors we have today is the governor of Kogi State. He came into power barely a year ago, but we have never heard or seen in the news that he went into purchasing of new vehicles or SUVs. He still maintained the old ones he has. That is cutting costs.
Hello, you there? Hello? Comrade? Okay. Well, over to you now as we open the phone lines yet again. what will be your 2 cents in the discourse this morning? 0907 353 0044 is the number you should stick to. And watching outside the shores of Nigeria, wanting to be a part of the discourse, add the country code +234 to the number, and you would be able to connect with us. And you can get onto the WhatsApp portal number. That would be +234 909 705 4450. Let's have your take in the discourse. If we were to make a comparative analysis of severance packages in other countries, it will be seen that in the United States, severance packages for political appointees are typically limited to a few months' salary and are subject to strict guidelines and oversight. Now, in the United Kingdom, though, severance packages for politicians are also subject to strict guidelines and are designed to ensure fairness and transparency. And in South Africa now, severance packages for politicians are regulated by law, and they are designed to prevent abuse and ensure accountability. Comrade Gerald, are you there? Hello, comrade.
Yes, I am.
Right.
You know, just like I was saying.
Yes.
If you look at individual, this is where personalities matters.
Okay.
If you look at individuals involved, you see a committed leader. It will reflect in governance. You understand? It will clearly reflect in whatever they do. But I think preventing these abuses, because as far as I'm concerned, is an abuse. You can't be collecting severance package as a governor, you are collecting as a minister, you are at the end of the day, by the time you finish as a Senate president, you also be collecting as a Senate president. You understand? For the interest and the love of our country, at least without even being told or without making it a public discussion, on the moral.
Hello, comrade. Are you there?
You are being done yourself in the ministry.
Okay. Go ahead. Okay. There's a poor network going on in there, but then we'll just do our bid to ensure that we reach out to him yet again and have him had his voice in terms of giving a very, very conclusive conclusion now to the discourse as we know it. But yeah, getting on to the WhatsApp portal now. Let's see what your messages would be reading out there via the WhatsApp portal. This one says, good morning. Good morning, Daniel. Good morning to you too. Says, I'm Kachi. Okay, Kachi from Kubwa. All right, that feels good, Kachi. Appreciate that one. Welcome aboard. It says, well, severance packages to me is just a conduit pipe where politicians use in taking our monies without any obstruction, and it doesn't seem as though the law is strong enough to combat these issues. I, for one, would want to get into politics with the shape of things and the way that this is going and the way the humongous monies that are involved. But then again, it's just a matter of greed, and as such, it is only necessary that we as a people begin to look inward and treat the matters that concern us very seriously. I mean, some of these monies can actually be used, to make things right that we're wrong, in the country. But then who is going to be our spokesperson? Who will be the one to take this fight and fight it till the end? Who will be the one to make our voice count in this regard? We can only say what we have to say using the various platforms such as this one. But then again, I leave it to God to do the final completion. Okay, so God is to do the final completion in that regard. Well, understandably so, Kachi, appreciate that one from you all the way from Kubwa right there. And yeah, number is 0907 353 0044. The other number, which will be for your WhatsApp message, is 0909-705-4450. What do you think about the severance, severance packages, as the House of Representatives is already looking into probing, some of the ministries, departments, and agencies in this regard, because some of them have taken it upon themselves to decide what their severance package would be. And as it stands, some of the stakeholders in this discourse would be Bamidele Salam, chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts from Ekiti State, Dr. Momotimi Agama, Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, from Delta State, and members of the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts from various states in the country. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning to you, Elder. Welcome, Elder. Hello, Elder, are you there?
Yeah, I heard you.
We can barely hear you now. The line is breaking.
What of are you hearing me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, you see, the villagers want to wait their time, they can't do anything. Okay, the own salary, they take it by themselves. A chairman of local government takes salary for itself. The system they are using in Nigeria is reduced, and then nobody is going to review because they are the people to do it. You see, and then they are benefiting, they are the beneficiary. So those who what they are doing, they are just doing the very thing they saw that committee, see the this and this, they see they need to go down. What they need is they give to them, they see everything fine. It don't be now you start now.
Okay.
You know the salary of councillor in the local government? Some of the salary of councillor and director in the ministry. So they create a salary by themselves. The system of the government we are using is very corrupt. And then the independence when they give to them to create salary by themselves, governor create salary by themselves, out of them create salary by themselves. The salary what they are taking, who takes it? Is it from a presidency? It's not a salary scale, created, political state by themselves. So you can't find it, you can't do anything there.
All right.
So they want to commend them, and then what they want, they give to them, they're like.
All right.
God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Onajer, right there. Comrade Gerald. Elder Onajer sharing his thoughts right there, saying that, look, all of this will only come to naught because even the indicting, even the House, saying that some of the members are also benefiting from the same, scheme as it stands. So where are we going with this conversation? That if we're to look into this, it will indeed unearth many things that, in fact...
Exactly. I can't agree anything less with Elder himself,
Right.
And this is where we need to possibly standardize these packages with policy, with laws that help the eligibility criteria to establish, this package to prevent unauthorized payments, especially for those that are benefiting from different ends. We should have a verification of service records that will verify records of employees to ensure accuracy and prevent fraudulent claims. Then we should also look at limitations of multiple payments. For example, if you are any severance package as a former governor, former executive chairman or councillor, what have you, and maybe you find yourself in another field, there should be this policy that will checkmate and put a stop to it, so that it shouldn't be that you are ripping the country off. Then there should be regular audits where we conduct a regular audit of severance package payment to direct irregularities and anomalies, where all stakeholders, including public and private sectors, come together, including CSOs, joining heads and finding ways where we can amend some of these laws from time to time. Then we should also have this whistleblower protection, where those that blow the whistle, will be protected, from and encouraged, to report suspected abuses so that it will not be that maybe a whistleblower will blow whistle that this person is collecting this or collecting, because what we have today, once you finish as a governor, for example, and you are able to get a successor from your party, he can cover you up. He can come to the public and claim that you are not collecting, whereas at the back end you are collecting. You understand? So we should find a way we can protect whistleblowers, whenever they reveal such a thing. Then penalties for abuse.
Okay.
We should establish penalties for abuse of sovereign package, including fines, disciplinary actions, or prosecutions. Then we should also make effort to recover overpayments where maybe these guys are being paid. Then disciplinary actions should also take place against employees or officials found to have abused this severance package. Then we should look at the digital payment system. And then data analysis, how we can, verify potential abuse patterns or anomalies. Then we should look at the rest of things we can engage in.
Yeah, comrade. For want of time. Yeah, for want of time. Well, you've given some very credible, solutions or angles that should be explored to ensuring that we got it rightly in this regard. But we appreciate you for your time with us this morning and for your insights, which are very indelible insights right there. We appreciate you, Comrade Gerald Okachi. You are a human rights activist, a public affairs commentator, social analyst, and conflict resolution, expert. Thank you for adding your voice today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate. And yes, to each and every one of us who have also added our voices, Felix from Lambata and Elder Onaja right there from Kuba. Appreciate you. And to you that listen to, we appreciate you too as well. I mean, this discourse, we will keep talking. We will not stop talking until we indeed re-engineer the society that we live in and make it a home that we have always wanted for ourselves. My name is Udwak Daniel. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
This is